Good afternoon, YouTubers. Today I have out of my collection a Pan Crusader X shortwave VHF UHF AM FM multiband receiver. Now, let me give you a little bit of a history on the receiver initially. The Pan Crusader X is notorious because it was originally made for the European market. It is made in Japan. It was made in the early 1980s. I want to say anywhere from about 81 to 84. It's got AM, FM, long wave, 4 shortwave bands, which actually covers the entire shortwave spectrum. It also covers your low police band from 30 to 86 megahertz. And in Japan, the FM band, which is from 75 megahertz. Of course, the FM band in North America from 88 to 108 megahertz. The aircraft band from 108 to 136 megahertz. The VHF high frequency, which is also police band and NOAA weather radio in North America, 144 to 176. And then also gives you the ultra high frequency, which is 430 megahertz up to 470 megahertz. This is a unique radio in the sense that it was banned from West Germany at one time. Not West Germany, I apologize, East Germany. This was banned from East Germany. And the reason it was banned from East Germany is because it was illegal to monitor police and civil service transmissions, which this radio could do. So the East German government apparently banned this radio. This is actually a really neat performing radio. Is it a top of the line going to compare with your Sonys, your Grundigs, your I'm not talking the Eton Grundigs, I'm talking the German and Portugal Grundigs. Your Panasonics? Probably not, but it is going to compare favorably with most radios that you're going to find today. It has a squelch. This squelch on this particular radio does not seem to be working properly. That is probably the only thing about it that doesn't work. In all honesty, I could care less. Don't really use the squelch much anyway. And it's really only effective on the aircraft and police bands, which, quite frankly, I live close to an airport, so I do pick up some airport transmissions, which I'm going to go through here and show you. Now, you might be able to pop this off, maybe clean it up and bring it back to life, but I don't really know if it matters a whole lot. It doesn't really matter to me. You've got your VHF selector here. You have your AM band selector over here, which is, of course, your long wave, your medium wave, which is AM here in North America, and then you've got your 4 shortwave band selector. Your power switch. This also has a digital display along with the analog, your wide, narrow bandwidth. This is for your USB. You actually have a upper and lower USB plus a BFO. RF gain is on the outside, and it does work on AM and shortwave bands. You also have an antenna adjust on this, and what's nice about the antenna adjust is it will allow you to focus on a strong station. It'll tune in a strong station, and at the same time, all your surrounding stations are generally nullified. So let's say, for example, if you're on the lower end of the AM band and you are down around 540, 550 megahertz, the further left you go, you are going to be able to strengthen that signal. As you go up the band, and I'll show you this, you will need to adjust the antenna accordingly in order to strengthen that signal. So it's actually a nice little touch. Separate bass and treble controls, volume control, and this thing has really nice sound, I got to tell you. That's an impressive sounding speaker. You'll get to hear it for yourself. This is an old style. I think it's, if you want to record broadcast, it has the older style. They're not really in vogue anymore. If you want to tape record your broadcast, you can actually plug it in directly. Your radio and tape switch is here, and then this is for an external speaker headphone jack. I never use it unless you, I think it's a mono jack. So if you put it in on headphones, you're probably going to get one out of one channel. Trust me, this speaker sounds plenty good enough. It really does. Also has your analog signal strength meter right here, and your shortwave calibrator. So that's also another nice feature about this radio. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. Now, I may get a little bit of overhead static on the lower end of the AM band due to my overhead light, and if I have to, I will turn that off. But I'm going to kind of show you how this thing works, let you hear it for yourself.
Yeah, I'm a nasty woman.
The one thing that you notice on the AM is this is 730 kilohertz. If you turn it, so the digital display is off slightly. See, if you put it on 730, you're actually slightly off the signal. Now, you can use the antenna adjust, what I did right there, to kind of tune it back in. But in all honesty, it's stronger at 725. If you want to call it a flaw, it's a flaw. But to me, it's not really a big deal. But this is on AM. I'm just going to go ahead and flip up the AM band for you.
Don't miss them.
Yeah, see, it's turning the antenna. See? If you adjust the antenna, the further you go up the band, thing's going to make a liar out of me now. It's going to tune in better. Now, KDK is a blowtorch around here.
When they get to Philadelphia, I think they usually stop and change engines on the train, or at least the last time I was on, the last 2 times, that's where they changed engines. So you get to Philadelphia, and you're going to New York, so you still got, a couple 100 miles to go.
There you go.
Once you make that switch from Philadelphia and you're going to New York, that train, honest to God, is probably going 80 miles an hour. I'm telling you, it's going so fast that as you go by the stations, you can't even read these.
Finding some shortwave. This radio is really, really good on shortwave. With a huge telescopic whip antenna, which I'll show you. Another nice thing is that when it will push the strong signals, but you're not getting a lot of loud static with an amplified signal.
Restart your body part. Oh, brother, this cannot go on, brother. It cannot go on. And I know this is a last generation because of the time.
As you can see, the single strength meter works on it great.
I can still hear you.
I'm going to turn this
And I'm thankful
overhead light out.
that you are still among us.
As you can see, the light works.
Short, brother. Time is very short. For all of us, actually.
Really good, strong sound.
Oh, thank you, Jesus, though, for the prophet. Thank you for you, prophets there. Thank you for you. With how much you're giving to. And that's the truth.
Crazy Bible guy.
Your
shortwave calibrator. Probably not really the time of day for sideband. There's probably not a lot of ham on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time.
Light, please.
Again, it's good and loud. It's got a great sounding speaker. I have the bass and treble pretty much all the way up, though. Let me flip it over to VHF for a minute. Okay, we're on the aircraft band. I'm going to go ahead and scroll up through the air band just to show you it works.
Former tower information, Oscar 1950 Zulu weather, wind 240 at 10, gust 20,
There you go.
8, ceiling 3000.
Okay, right up to 137. Let's go to FM.
Mortgage is 4.18%. APR 4.35%. Call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender.
There you go. That's your FM. Back on aircraft here. Let's go up to, yeah, there's not much on the higher police bands anymore, to be honest. No weather. Now, keep in mind, this has a VHF antenna, too. Now, this antenna that I have on here is not the original. It broke. But, like I said, I mean, these police bands work. There just isn't really a lot going on. Long wave. Let's go down to VHF low band. Let's try that. Sometimes you'll pick something up. Again, there really just isn't much on these bands anymore. Occasionally you'll find, you know, a police relay or something like that. Let's go back to the AM. We're on the low shortwave bands now. We're up there. We're around 90 meters. Again, just not really much broadcasting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I get that.
Naser Foods, Apollo, 4971 State Route 66. Phone them at 724-727-7503. Also, they have a location in Pleasant Unity. Naser Foods at 1950 Route 130. Call 724-42.
And then long wave. And there's nothing on long wave in North America. But I'll show you that long wave works. Now, if you are a European buyer, you're going to take more advantage of long wave than we here in North America. You know, you might get the occasional beacon or something like that. Obviously, it has a lighted dial, which is really nice. And, of course, the digital counter. And I noticed that the 5 kilohertz thing on the tuning on AM is really only on AM. The rest of the signals seem to be fine as far as that goes on the different bands, as far as putting it on, you know, having it right on frequency. This thing is a behemoth. It's big. It takes 8 batteries. 8D batteries. If I open up the case, it is going to, all the batteries are going to fly out of it. I also have it plugged in. There's static from my camera. It has an external antenna, telescopic antenna switch. I'm not really sure how much of a difference it makes. You can also hook up an external AM antenna, a DC 12 volt for a car, if that floats your boat. And there is a pretty big jack there for VHF, UHF, which may actually improve in some of your VHF reception. I'm not really sure. This also has, we're going to go ahead and turn this off now. This also has an adapter. So you are going to be just fine with a 110 or a 220. So if you're in Europe and you're looking to purchase one of these, you've already got a 220 there. And this adapter works just fine. As you can see, I had it plugged in. So anyway, the Pan Crusader X, again, this is a Japanese-made radio. It was made in the early 1980s. You don't see too many of these out there. I have seen some reviews on these where they are considered to be pedestrian performers. Personally, I disagree. I think this is actually a very underrated performer. I think in particular, if you're buying this radio because of shortwave, this is actually a very, very good shortwave performer. AM is also pretty decent. My recommendation would be, if you really want to hone in on AM reception, get yourself one of these Texan AM loop antennas. Set it right beside it. They're wireless. And it's got a little adjuster on it. And you can really hone in the AM stations with that. But anyway, this video review is not about the Texan AM loop antenna. It's awesome. I wouldn't live without it. This is about the Pan Crusader. Nice radio, folks. Please leave any comments or if you have any questions down below. Thank you.